Greetings. Welcome to today's BIZ Info Zone Show. My name is Lynn Hawkins. I am the founder of the BIZ Info Zone Shows, and I'm the creator of the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship. You know, one of the things that I think about quite often is how can I be of service? And it is in that thinking that I have been directed to you, my audience of savvy social entrepreneurs. And I want to thank you for being here today. This is the space, you're in the zone, the space where the savvy social entrepreneur gets to express their purpose, plan their next move in order to implement and take your business and your life into the realm of prosperity. You're already there? That's great. Then it's time to think bigger about what else can I do in the world? How else can I make a difference in the world? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because that process is one of visioning. And I often talk about the 5 key areas of business mastery that the P3 Academy and the BIZ Info Zone focus on, being money and finance, marketing and sales, mindset and strategy, health and wellness, and operations. And I call operations the turn of the wheel because without operations, without the systems, without the visioning that takes place that allows you to put the full wheel in place, it won't turn. And you want that turn because that turn represents flow. It represents the flow of clients, customers, and abundance. And that is my vision for the BIZ Info Zone show. Today, I get to be in the space of my vision and my mission to really impact the statistics of women-owned businesses and just small business in general, because small business has the fastest rate of new businesses beginning, but it has the fastest rate of business failures. 1 in 8 businesses that begins will fail within the first 3 years of its existence. Those statistics around women-owned businesses is 1 in 3 will succeed. And I like to look at the positive side of things. You know, visioning is forward thinking. And looking at this from a positive perspective allows me to do a couple of things. And one is to invite people into this venue, the BIZ Info Zone show, to help me to bring you the information and the news and the tools and the strategies to help you do business bigger and better. And sometimes I even get to get interviewed. And today, my dear friend Cynthia Gardner O'Neill is here to stand in the space of host. Cynthia is the owner of the founder of the Center for Loving Consciousness, and she's the creator of Harmonics. And that's harmonizing your life and your business. And what I have found is that we are in such alignment about the messages that we're sharing, that the conversations that we have and the interviews that we have with each other and with other people are so in alignment to what it's about as far as bringing your heart into business and expressing the heart of your business. And that's what we're here today to do. Cynthia, I'm going to open the floor up and give you control as the host and interviewer. And I'm going to step back and stand in the space of interviewee and just enjoy my time here.
Yes, you're in the light. You're in the light. And you are the light. You have inspired me to many levels and beyond. So I'm so happy that you invited me here, and I'm very honored to be able to have this opportunity to share about setting your intentions that you have put forth for everyone to make a difference in this world for women and for these young women that you're helping out, in the permissions movement, which I know we'll have an opportunity to speak about. Those statistics that you just shared with us, I hadn't heard those before. And thank you so much. I didn't even occur to me about those kind of things and about business itself and how the difference between, and I don't mean to create separation, it's just about really how we can all share together and collaborate and interact with one another to support the whole, instead of, like you said, you don't want to look at what's bad, or going on. It's just about how can we support each other so that we can create more harmony in the world, and that is about supporting men and women in business, because we each have something really extraordinary and amazing to share and be of service to. So thank you for bringing that all in so that we can be aware. And so bring in more of that, about that part that brought you to having the intention to be of service in that way. Where did that come from?
Oh, that's such a great question, and thank you for asking. I have asked myself that question, quite honestly, a few times, because growing up, I got into the corporate world, and I started out in accounting, and it just didn't feel right, but I didn't know about the thing about feeling. What I knew was that I was very spiritual, even at a young age, and I thought, okay, God, this just isn't working for me. What's next? And it happened to be me, 2 young kids, a single parent. My ex was, his crazy self, and I thought, I need to get away from here, not just for the sake of my kids, but for my own life. And I really felt like it was a life or death decision being made at the time. And I thought, okay, I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. Both my kids were born in Baltimore. Yet my mom at the time lived here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I thought if there was any place that I wanted to make a new start, it would be in Atlanta. At that time, it was, rediscovering itself. It was rebranding itself. Andrew Young was mayor, and he was on a mission to make Atlanta an international city. And it was a few years after that the Olympics was here in Atlanta, and I had been living here for 16 years at that time. So the year the Olympics came, I actually ended up moving away. But I moved to Atlanta in 1980, and at the time I moved here, I said I desired to find a career that would pay me substantial sums, yet I did not have to work like a dog. Now, not that that part didn't happen because of the story that I was telling myself, because back in the day, all I was hearing was black women had to work 10 times harder than a white guy and 5 times harder than a white woman in order to garner the same accolades, the same money, the same prestige. And I was like, okay, then I know what I'm up against. Hey, 10 times harder, that's nothing new for me. I'd been there already. So I was able to do that, and I was able to get into real estate. And the thing that got me about real estate was, in having asked this question to the universe, I got the answer back. It's real estate. What other business can you do besides real estate? And there are a few that, are the thing that everyone's going to need a place to live. Everyone needs a place to work. Everyone needs a place to shop. Everyone needs a place to go to the hotels and resorts and things like that. So looking at it from that space, plus, you could be a lawyer, you could be in the finance industry, you could be in insurance, and really just focus on real estate. Well, unbeknownst to me at the time, I got into mortgage banking, and I got into commercial mortgage banking before things changed to become as structured as they are. As a matter of fact, my left brain, that I was so into the real estate thing and bringing structure to the work that we were doing, I was in heaven. I was thriving. My life was good. I was able to provide very well for myself and my kids as a single parent. And I spent 35 years in the commercial real estate arena. But what that did for me that I did not realize until about 25 or 30 years in was that I had a heart, a total heart connection with the entrepreneurs. Now, I worked for the lenders, right? These were the guys saying, we'll lend you the money for this return. You make sure you pay your mortgage payment. Yet my conversations were the best with these business owners, these people who were paying their mortgages. And I was able to see in the results of some of the real estate recessions, the pain that these business owners went through. And I began asking the questions around what could they have had instead? What could have been different for them? Most was around something as small as, we teach ourselves, get yourself a savings account. And for commercial real estate, it ends up, and in business, it ends up being reserves. And there were a lot of these business owners who had not built reserves so that they could tap into those reserves in times of hardship so that they could remain stable and continue to do business, even have time to think about what else can I do? Is there something that I need to be innovatively thinking about and considering? And my vision at that point in time was that I would, in my later years, at around retirement, start my own real estate company, be the real estate broker, and really be in a space of helping the small business owners with their sales, leasing, property management, their investment purchases, with their construction development. That was my background. That is my background. That is the thing that brought me to this point. So when I got laid off for the last time, once I got through the whole grief of loss and the deciding there's got to be something better in life, and thank you for laying me off, because maybe now is time for me to write my own story. And I ventured out to start my own business as a real estate agent, an independent real estate agent. And I did fairly well. I kept a roof over my head for the most part and, kept things rolling. And then one day someone said to me, one of my friends, actually a business coach, said, you've given me such practical advice, and I hear what you're offering to others, and when are you going to stop playing around and just, call yourself a business coach, because that's what you're doing. I know you're in that real estate space, that commercial space. I don't know anything about it, but I hear what you're saying. I see how you light up when you're working with these business owners. You're a business coach. And I thought, okay, it scared me, quite honestly, because that was not part of my vision story. And so as I became more aligned to the thought of being a business coach, I started getting educated and getting trained and working with business coaches, and I found a business coach for me, actually several, because if you are like me, I really was able to make a connection with the coach, but I then realized that some were not right for me. Some didn't share the same heart's desires that I did, so they didn't know how to encourage me. Some didn't know the whole personality piece, so they didn't know how to interact with my personality. And so it really helped me to define the work that I was going to do. And within the last 6-8 months, I have founded the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, because the other piece that I realized was that I am have been, most of my life, a social entrepreneur. I've been in the space of grant writing and, bringing the value connections to small business that I really said, okay, I am a social entrepreneur.
Well, so with that, what is a social entrepreneur?
Oh my
I know
gosh.
people who ask me that all the time, so I'd love to hear what that is, because you are the queen of the socialpreneur, because you really know what you're talking to and about, and how to help people understand what that really means.
Social entrepreneurship is difference makers, and difference makers who see the ability to do their business and do more in their business so that they can do more in the world to impact and alleviate some of the social causes that we see out in the world today. Participating in Doctors Without Borders and building water wells in areas where there is no water, putting shoes on the feet of kids and villagers who, they walk around in the dirt and mortality rates are high because they get parasites into their bodies, and especially for the kids. These are the business owners who see beyond just making money to have the lifestyle and live unto themselves. They see that they've been gifted with the ability to earn income in their business so that they can help either do something that is their own heart's desire to help others, or they can participate in what someone else is doing. And that's a pretty long definition of social entrepreneurship. It is not something that is new. It actually started way back when communities first became communities. And we see the old movies and hear the old stories about how someone got injured and couldn't work. And it was the community that came together that brought food. It was the small business owner and his or her family that helped financially, maybe making a mortgage payment for them, or being the leader that went out into the community that said, so-and-so needs our help. What can we do? And actually, the initial vision of social entrepreneurship was our churches. It was what our churches were designed to be, to help in the community.
That collaboration, that community, that compassion, kindness, all of what is based in our hearts.
Yes.
The love, that loving consciousness, and that is so you. You are in that place where you are taking your story, you're making that intention to take what you've experienced and know where you can contribute to change the experience, not only of yourself right now, okay, but also of others. As you and I have talked, I always say, what I'm learning, I teach best. What I'm healing inside myself, I heal in others. And so that's the thing about compassion, is when we have compassion for others, which heals our whole community, we are that socialpreneur. We are a person within ourselves, within our own business, which is, our own hearts, our own lives. We can make a difference for others. And I want to thank you so much for being that person who's really stepping out and bringing so many people in that have all this information to support this great permission movement. Can we talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely.
I know that's huge for you.
It is truly the permission movement and the desire to bring a group of co-authors together to write this book called Permission to Be Powerful. It is truly the unique stories and insights of 20 women entrepreneurs having put their story in a book, and it is truly, we've heard the hero's journey, and I call it the shero's journey, because the hero as a shero really has a different story. And it is in the shero's journey that so many awarenesses occur, so many lessons, that when you're open to hearing the lesson, seeing the lesson, feeling it, knowing that it was truly your lesson, it's what you said. What I learn, I teach best. And it was in the permission movement, establishing the permission movement, and then establishing the project, the permission movement experience, that really has been designed to touch the lives of girls and women all around the world because of this book, because the book is going to be turned into a study guide and a leader guide. And those guides are going to be able to help these girls and women to not only be inspired by these stories, but to learn the tools, the techniques, the strategies that each one of these co-authors actually writes about in their chapter. What one tool and strategy or thing that they used, that they acquired along their shero's journey, that allowed them to continue to move forward and be in the space now of successful, powerful woman entrepreneur. And, it just became so obvious that this was what was to happen. And my intention was that for 2015, we would be able to take the permission movement, the gifts of the permission movement around story, and bring that to women entrepreneurs who I'm avidly asking to help share the message, help share the opportunity that the permission movement and the permission movement experience provides, and to help share in helping these young girls and young women as they are improving their lives. The BIZ Info Zone was established actually prior to really coming to grips with the fact that I am living in the space of a social entrepreneur. But I knew I wanted to help entrepreneurs. I wanted to help entrepreneurs to do more business, do bigger business, so that they could do more in the world. And it was kind of like one day I woke up and saw that and thought, oh my gosh, I am truly the social entrepreneur. I'm the example, I'm the sample, and I am doing things now. We talked about this not too long ago. We are doing things now that are setting the precedents and becoming the examples that we can use and that others can use to make our point about social entrepreneurship. And that's what today's whole thing is all about. Writing a new story of success has to first be set in the realm of understanding your story so that you can set the intention to set the correct vision. My mentor, Gina Gaudio-Graves, said just the other day, I went through the process of designing the intention for the Directions University university program and platform for the year. And she said, it occurred to me that I really had to spend the time envisioning, because where was I going if I didn't? And it warmed my heart, because what I'm going to share with everyone today is something that I put together several years ago, actually. And I got to the end of 2014, and I was in my process of retrospection and reflection, and I thought 2014 for me was a year of incubation, lots of growth, lots of learning as a member of the Directions University team and a faculty, now a faculty member at Directions University, I've actually been able to not only step into the light of my power that I talk about for this book and the outreach program, but I've been able to look back on what it is that I've done in past and bring it forward, repurpose it, designing it in the new premise of the story that I'm in, along with some of the new learnings that I've had. I grew up in the era of sales, and I even was on a sales team at a real estate firm, and the leader of the sales team said, "Lynn, you can't do this. It's hard for me to call you a sales agent because you just don't do selling." And I thought, well, I've leased almost as much space as, the person at the top of the leaderboard for the year. I have customers who are coming back to me after years of working with me saying, "I don't want to go to the leasing team." I was working property management at the time. "I don't want to go to the leasing team. I want you to find me my new space." And, that told me something. That told me that the time and the heart and the authenticity that I gave into the relationships that I've been fortunate enough to establish was the key. It was the story that I was able to create about who I was and what my intention was in helping them, that they had the know, like, and trust factor, that they could come back and say, "You know what, it's salespeople, it's brokers all over the place, but I trust you. I want you to find me my next new space." And that's actually what got me on the sales team. But then to hear this guy say that to me, I thought, geez, am I doing something wrong? It kind of reminds me of what David Bullock said as we were interviewing him about how someone interpreted the results of what he did, and he bought into that story for a while. I bought into that story, and I have to tell you, I was miserable. I went to sales trainings that were teaching sales based on how they were selling. Didn't work for me. And I ended up going back to him and saying, if this is how you perceive sales to be, you're right. I am not a good fit. I'll stay over here. I'll get my new deals. I'll get a bigger commission because I don't have to go through you. And it worked out perfectly. Divine guidance and the universe come into play when you have set the intention and set your vision for that intention. But you can't set the intention that can really move quickly without first setting the vision. And that's what I want to talk about today, because it is in the vision that you really can soar in your life and your business. And I love it. I know this is the space that I was born to be in now.
Yeah, Lynn, now I know you have an acronym for SOAR. Your SOAR program, but you have a program or something like that. Can you tell us a little bit about what it stands for, what it means to you, what kind of program that is?
Well, when I talk about vision to soar, the SOAR acronym is actually the process that I take people through in order to help them to set their vision. The Bible says, set the vision and make it plain. And then, what happens? The universe has something that they're able to support you in. So, that's it, yeah? The SOAR acronym is, S is for C. See what you would love to have before you, what you would love for your life and your business to be. I know that in this day and age, a lot of us think about lifestyle businesses, and those lifestyle businesses actually stem from how it is that you're doing business. But you can't have the lifestyle if you haven't spent the time deciding on what the lifestyle is that you desire. And so see the future that you would like to have for yourself. And in that seeing, I've gotten very good at meditating these days. I've learned hypnosis. I practice hypnosis. I practice NLP. And I really stand in the space of helping you, my clients, friends, customers, to be in the space of visioning, seeing what you would have your future to be. And I mean, I'm in the space of business. I teach from the space of business, but I cannot do that without knowing what a big part heart plays in it. To see what you desire for your future and for it to mean anything, to feel the heart connection to it, to align with it, not just from your head, from left brain or right brain, because if you are not aligned, it's just a thought. And we want to, in the SOAR acronym, really have you settle into, be grounded into the vision that you see for yourself. I tell a story about John Assaraf, and many of you are probably familiar with John Assaraf. If not, he's a well-renowned trainer, speaker, and author. And he got into the space of visioning with this deeper intention that I'm speaking about. Did the whole vision boarding, and I think, years ago when I first got into this and designed this program, I was doing vision board trainings. And so this story was really, I really connected to it, because he talked about having made this vision board of his dream home, of the business that he had, the vision of him seeing himself on stage speaking to audiences of thousands. And he had these pictures on his vision board. And he was moving. This is like 5 years later. He's moving, unpacking in this brand new home that he's been able to purchase and provide for his family. And he and his 5-year-old son are unpacking the boxes in his office. And his son pulls out this board and opens it up, and he looks at it. He says, "Dad, this is our house." And John steps back and says, "What do you mean?" And he looks at the vision board, 5-year-old vision board, and says, "You are absolutely right. This is our home. This is the dream home that I had 5 years ago, and look at us now." That's how powerful this visioning process is, and seeing. Grab the pictures, keep the visuals, because that is also part of what this seeing piece is. After you see it, the deepening into alignment that you go, that's the own it piece. Own it. Hear it, see it, feel it, taste it, mull it around. That's why vision boards are so very useful tools, because it causes you to, from your ocular system, to see that and imprints that picture on your mind, so that your subconscious and your conscious mind and the universe can work together to bring that about. So you want to own it. And when you own it, guess what happens, Cynthia? I know you know this. We stand in this space because upon owning it, you have become aligned with it. And in that alignment, you bring your heart into it. And it fascinated me to have the conversation with you about the heart from a cellular level, and to really learn about how the heart, and I would love if you would just interject right here about the heart being the first cell and that whole piece of development.
Yes. Well, it is the, the heart cell is the first cell upon your conception, the embryonic heart cell, which actually is from that cell of the heart. It's creating all those cells that help the heart beat. So it might be a muscle cell, but it's a muscle cell in the heart, still a part of the heart cells. And that create that heartbeat. That's the first sound upon your conception, and sound creates form. So, but the heart is the central communication center, okay, for every single one of your cells. Every single one of your cells, okay? Your brain is made up of cells. So everything begins in the heart and then goes to the brain. And then we also talk about, the heart. Heart disease is the #1 killer disease of men and women. And, it actually is 3rd or 4th down the line of people really paying attention to it and raising money for it. The #1 fundraisers that they bring in money for is cancer. I think it's like they raise maybe around, I think it was 26 million for heart disease, and it's 264 million for cancer. Cancer is disease of certain cells in your body. Okay, like breast cancer is the breast cells. Well, guess what communicates with every single one of those cells? Your heart. Your heart. So what Lynn's talking about here too is she's going to her heart, and it is helping communicate to all of her cells, and in seeing and all those things activates everything that creates life to take action. And so, what I get down to is if your heart is communicating with every single cell, if we solve the issues of the heart and you followed your heart, we could solve all dis-ease. So if we found out what the cause was for the illness or dis-ease, would we need a cure? So right now, with Lynn talking about following her heart and presenting all this to you, she right now is helping solve a lot of your dis-ease and disease within herself, and that's why she is so powerful right now in sharing her story and setting her intentions and sharing the SOAR. So thank you. I had to bring that all in to bring it back to where you are and how strong your heart is.
Thank you. That was so powerful for me to learn that, because it is, it's part of the seeing it, owning it, and then, you realize that you are so acutely aware now. The A is for aware, and in that awareness, you are able to attract that which you desire, because, the laws of the universe, and I heard Bob Proctor say this first, the laws of attraction, you don't attract that which you desire, you actually attract that which you are. And so, there's so many of us who are in pain and in conflict and in dis-ease, yet we're thinking that, reciting affirmations and, just having this desire for this thing or that it will be attracted to me, that it will come to me. It may do that, but it takes a lot longer time. And this has been proven. So how do you shorten that time frame? It's the alignment that we're talking about. It's allowing the heart to participate in the visioning process that goes on in the conscious and the subconscious mind. And it is doing the work to really stay in that alignment. That alignment is a frequency. And Cynthia's a bioacoustic scientist, and we, again, do a lot of talking around this concept of frequency. If you know any energy healers, they will tell you that the frequency at which you are emanating, I mean, you heard about the aura, and your aura, have you ever heard anybody say that when somebody walks into a room, it's like the light gets turned? You know something about the expansiveness of that person's aura. When that happens to me, that says that's somebody that I want to get to know, because I feel as though too that there are times where, even though it's not something that you do consciously or overtly intentionally, just being you in alignment with who you are, with your heart energy, knowing, seeing the vision, owning the vision, knowing what it is that you desire to bring to yourself, that energy frequency is happening. And you call it a lot of times, that is your heartbeat, that frequency. And I love that, because in that awareness, I've actually been able to do this work for myself. Actually been able to stand more powerfully in this SOAR principle, so that I am manifesting that which I truly desire, because it's who I am. And so the SOAR principle, the R represents review the results. So here I am back in my brain, my left brain side, because you cannot correct what you have not identified. And you identify what you may need to adjust by reviewing the results. I spent the year in manifesting last year and the year before, and what did I get? If I look at the results, it tells me a story. And I'm able to adjust what it is that I'm doing because I've reviewed those results. And I love the way that you've made me aware of your philosophy around the whole adjustment. It is flexibility and adaptability that is the new stability. Yes, yes, that is alignment. Adaptability, flexibility, yet it doesn't mean that I have given up who I know I am, who I know my heart is, who I know the vision that I've set for myself. It just means that I am the rocket ship going to the moon. I know my vision, set my intention, but I also have to be in the review the results mode, because if I am 1/100th of a percentage off course, I am totally somewhere different. And that rocket ship, because of that and the laws of physics, that rocket ship is adjusting 97% of the time in order to ensure that it reaches its target. I've often looked, I've seen this, I've actually seen this. I love the analogy of, in business, we set up the bullseye, and we are the archer, and we're standing there, and we're pulling back on the bow, and we're about to shoot this arrow, and we're heading for the bullseye, yet it could go this way or that way or any way and not hit the target, much less the bullseye. How would it feel to hit the bullseye every time you step up and pull that bow back? Well, there's some key learnings around setting intentions and visioning to soar. And I'd love to help you to realize that. And I am offering and inviting you to play with me. Come play with me in the Visioning to SOAR program for 2015. So you're probably saying, okay, so Lynn, what's that all about? Well, we go through 5 weeks of an intentional process that actually helps you to hone in on the vision that you would like, that you would desire for your future and for your business, and specifically for your business. We go through several processes, experiential processes. So this is a live thing that we do. We do it live, but we do it over Google Hangouts. I love Google Hangouts. And we actually focus on bringing you into the vision of your heart. We are going to do one of the segments, we will actually create your vision board. Another one, if you want a digital vision board, you can create it that way. We'll actually go through allowing you to create, helping you to create your vision board. And we will also get into the process to write your vision. Write your vision, make it plain, and then set your intentional declaration. Now, you say, but I can do all of that on my own. Well, you probably can. And would it take you 5 weeks? It may take you 5 months. It may take you, 5 years. Because one of the things that we do is we really focus in one of the segments on alignment and story. How you can move through your story into total and complete alignment with your vision. So I would love for you to join me in this 5 weeks Vision to SOAR Blueprint Boot Camp, virtual boot camp, where I will be helping you to actually establish your vision statement, your mission statement, because again, this is the whole business thing for me. This is why this was developed. And the last thing that we're going to do is to set your milestone goals for the next 12 months. Break them down by quarter and allow you to see what your quarterly results are. I'll give you the formula to set up your monthly milestone goals. And then if you choose to come back the next quarter, we'll actually go through reviewing those results and seeing what actions you can take to tweak, adjust, so that the milestone goals that you set for the 12th month of 2015 can be realized. You will be that rocket ship that's adjusting as you're heading for the moon. You will be the bow that is being drawn back by the archer who has clear sight of the bullseye and the strength and confidence in order to really get to that center target. So Visioning to SOAR is 5 weeks, and I love this because we are going to start at the end of January. One of the things that I would love to offer to you is, with that, an opportunity to join us in the Permission Movement experience. Because in the Permission Movement experience is where we are really going to go through the process, the understanding, and the awareness of story. We started off the Permission Movement experience this week, and 3 sessions are being offered to our communities in the world for free. And then there's a nominal price point of $147 for you to join us for the remaining of the 9 weeks. 9 celebrity guests like Natalie Ledwell, Desiree Dubois, Matt Pearlstein, who's the EQ guy. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence. Gina Gallio-Graves, who's the JV queen and the creator of the Vortex model of doing business. Jack Humphrey, Associate Dean of Directions University, who's the traffic master. He's a web master and SEO guru. He's actually, there's so many of us who have our story, have our book, or aspire to have a book, and or be a part of a co-author book project. Yet it doesn't mean anything if you've got a book. Nobody knows about it. You can't get it to anyone. You're not talking about it. We are actually going to talk to you about how to tell your story so that you can use your book to build your business and use your business to write your book. So join me in the Permission Movement experience, and if you do, the Visioning to SOAR program will be 50% off. The program is normally $497 for the 5 weeks, and you'll get it for actually less than 50%. You'll be able to get it for $147. just like the permission movement. But you know what's really great about this is there's 3 ways to pay. Cynthia, I love this because back when I was really spending big dollars to participate in programs like this, it was like you plopped down that entire thing right then or you couldn't do it. Today, we're able to offer you 3 ways to pay, and it's the same for both. So 147 you can pay upfront, the whole thing, and you are in. Or you can pay at $10 down today and $77 for 2 months, 30 days in 30-day increments. Now, who can beat that? $10 today to get into the permission movement experience today, and $77 30 days from now, and then again 30 days from then. Just was not options back when I was paying thousands of dollars for things, nor was the $147 price point. And then the third way to pay, which is actually my favorite option, is, and how does this feel for you? $0 today, $0 for 6 months, and 0 interest. I'm like,
how can you do that?
Where did that come from? Well, PayPal has their Bill Me Later plan. It's a finance plan that they have opened up to those who utilize PayPal for their business, and you could qualify and get it that way and have 6 months to pay. It used to be that Bill Me Later would make you pay in 6 equal installments. Now they've improved the program to where there really is 0 payment today, 0 payment for 6 months, and no interest. And on top of that, I want you to know that for the permission movement experience, 90% of all of the proceeds of the permission movement experience, or some number like that. We've got some minor expenses, but the majority of your payment into the permission movement experience actually goes towards the outreach project for these girls and women who will be utilizing the Permission to Be Powerful book, the study guide, and the leader guide, so that small groups of girls and women can learn these inspirational stories and learn the individual tools that these co-authors used. You know, it's equipping them to potentially have a much more successful life. It's equipping them with skills and tools for their success toolbox. And the majority of the $147 to participate in the permission movement experience will go to funding that program. And as far as Vision to SOAR is concerned, 50% of the income that I get from this program goes to that program. And that's not it. That's not everything. I want you to know that you're participating in this with us really has significant opportunity for so many people, because for every 2 tickets to the permission movement that are purchased, 1 nonprofit organization that supports girls and women will be able to receive the digital product containing the entire 9-week program. All of the speakers, all of their gifts, all of the presentations that were made, the panel discussions, everything will be digitally packaged, and that nonprofit organization will be able to get a complimentary digital package to utilize with the girls and the women that they support. And that is, you know, an example of my heart's desire, and to help see that get realized means the world to me and the other 19 co-authors who are participating in all of this with me, as well as the 9 celebrity guests who are part of the program. And I'd like to invite you to go to Google+, find a search for the Permission Movement Experience get the first 3 modules that are out there, check them out. You'll see the links and the information in order to get to the page that is the sales page to get you into the rest of the permission movement experience. And that is permissionexperience.org. Permissionexperience.org. Thanks.
And I'm going to put that, I'm going to put that in the comments area on the page for this
Great.
account. The Q&A, I'm not able to post in there, plus we would like it to be included because the Q&A for the live show won't show up in the Google Plus or on YouTube, so we want to make sure that you guys get this information. So that's where I'm going to be posting it, so you can be able to find all that information. Okay?
So that's said, are there any questions out in the Q&A for me about the Vision to SOAR program, or the SOAR acronym, the SOAR principle?
I have not gotten any questions. We do have a few people in here, but if you do have any questions, there's the Q&A that you can put some information in. If you do have some questions, please feel free. And also in the BIZ Info Zone Show, in the comment area underneath this video, or the hangout that you're watching, please put some information in there. I'm paying attention to both areas, so I will try to answer any questions that you have and give them to Lynn.
Thank you so much.
And Lynn, I have a question for you.
Sure.
As you're kind of finishing up, you have a few things that you've offered. You told everybody about the permission movement and what that is all about. You've also told them about your SOAR program. Now there's one other thing, because as we see here under the Lynn Hawkins name, is you have the P3 Academy. And I know these all, work out, all work together for you to do what you do and what you offer. So you have the P3 mission. And before we wrap up, can you share a little bit about the P3 mission and what P3 stands for?
Absolutely. Thank you. Those of you who know me will kind of remember this, but those of you who are just really coming to know me, when I started my business, I kept getting the download about the hawk. The hawk was very important to me, but my birthday's in July. I'm Leo the lion. So, it became kind of confusing at first, because it was like, well, if you're a lion, how can you be a hawk? But then I learned that people had totem animals, and when I first got introduced to this, I was like, totem animals, really? But then the more I got to move in the space of the energy realm and the spiritual realm, and learning from Chief Robert Talltree and Terry Talltree about the Native American wisdom, I've been able to really get to understand that as the left brain person that I had moved through my life within and identified so very characteristically as a power person, it was the lion showing up to help guide and protect me. As I've moved now into a lot of my right brain, always been there, it kind of was the rosebud closed up that was asking to be opened, asking to thrive. That's when I began to see the hawk. That's when the hawk began to talk to me, and that's when I adopted the Skyhawk Enterprises. And from there, as I evolved, and you'll hear me talk a lot about evolving and emerging and the law of emergence, but as I and my business began to, or continued to evolve, and I identified that the social entrepreneurship piece was so important to me, I was able to see the vision of the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship. where I am now helping people to complete that piece of their journey into seeing how social entrepreneurship can be incorporated into their existing business, how they can how they can start a new business that is truly designed to be a social enterprise. And part of the academy is a workshop that we have coming up in February that's actually going to help entrepreneurs to set up their nonprofit organizations. One of the things that I do a lot of talking about is, you may be a business that is interested in helping to address a particular cause. Well, you can do that in two ways, actually. You can align with a nonprofit that's already doing that, and there's a process for that. Or you can start your own 501c3 and do that. Or maybe you know someone who just wants to start a nonprofit organization. This workshop is actually going to help those interested to not only get their incorporation documents done and submitted. If you choose to be an LLC, you'll be able to get that documentation done and submitted, and then we'll help you to get your IRS form documents completed and submitted. Our goal is to help as many entrepreneurs to show up in the space of social entrepreneurship that desire to. And you don't have to be a nonprofit organization in order to do that. If you choose to, I want to help you to do that. And that's what the P3 Academy does, along with really helping you focus on building business and doing bigger business so that you can do more in the world. Be a difference maker.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. And, that I will leave as my point of wrap-up, because that is what this is all about. The vision to SOAR, the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, the Permission Movement, the Permission to Be Powerful book, the Permission Movement experience. And it is in the experience. You have a beautiful way of crafting the whole thing about experience and love. That's what it's all about. And I so appreciate and love you for supporting me in the work that I do and allowing me to be there to support you. And those of you who are watching us today, thank you for being here. You being a part of this community and this audience. In 2015, the intention has been set to bring you the tools, the strategies, the people who want to share and serve to your benefit so that you can have more in your business to be able to do more good in the world. So I think that will wrap our show up for today. Next week, and I am always so bad at this. Next week, we will be talking more about giving yourself permission to see the money. See the money. And I'm just so excited about that because my friend, also a co-author in our book, real estate broker Margaret Vieira, and her business partner, Rui Azevedo, will be here next week to share about seeing the money and investing in your future because you see your future. And, most people think, and I just have to say this, real estate investment, do I need $1 million? Do I need, $500,000, $100,000? No, you can actually make some of these investments with as little as $5,000 and $10,000. And we're going to talk a little bit about that next week. So join us again right here on the BIZ Info Zone Show. You've been in the zone. I'm Lynn Hawkins. I am founder and host, and I've been blessed to be here with my friend, co-host today, or substitute host, Cynthia Gardner-O'Neill. On behalf of the two of us, thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful weekend. Go take a look at permissionexperience.org and join us. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.